Welcome to the What's Important Now broadcast. In America today, we are witnessing a cultural shift. This is the show devoted to the battle for the soul of our country. Join our host, Tom Sears, as he explains the issues of our day and join the fight to bring values and morality back. Let's join Tom now as he shares What's Important Now.
And welcome inside of What's Important Now. I'm Tom Sears. Thanks for being a part of our program. We are, in fact, battling for the soul of our country. It's a fight that is important. It is a fight that matters, and we are in the fight. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot to cover today. I want to get to it. I've got some stuff I want to talk about. Before we get into all of that, as always, you can contact us by email, what'simportantnowradio@gmail.com, what'simportantnowradio@gmail.com. Find us online at what'simportantnowradio.com. There you can find archived radio broadcasts, plus see some of the other programs that we produce, including a very popular podcast called Pastor Talk, dealing with the issues of the church. Again, thanks for being here. Our mailing address is 8901 Good Hope Pike, Lost Creek, West Virginia, 26385. Over the last several weeks, I have been very encouraged to be out and about and see people who have said, "Hey, Tom, I want you to know I'm listening to your program. We love it," and they're grateful for it, and I'm grateful for all of you who are listening. The truth is, we are in a battle. Culture is changing. The fight is real, and we have to decide if we are going to be silent. Now, if you've listened to this program for any amount of time, you are well aware of my stance on abortion. I believe with all of my heart, with everything in me, that it is murder. I believe that it is the taking of innocent human life that has never been given the chance to fully live. As a father of 3, I cannot imagine ever my life without them. It's also no secret that this is an issue that causes much division and a lot of heated debates. And I also believe that if society were provided with the truth on this issue, then there would be less abortions taking place. And what I mean is that the media and the liberal agenda have clouded the reality of what abortion is and what is actually happening. Now, this can be seen in recently overturned heartbeat bills that many states have passed. Well, not many, but several states have passed. And for many years, the argument has been that abortion in its early stages was not the taking of life. And so it was called a blob of tissue or a blob of cells. It was not life at all. Well, with the advancing of medicine and technology, we now know that a heartbeat is detected in the very early stages of pregnancy. Now, as it pertains to late-term abortions, we've been told that it's only performed, late-term abortions, I should say, is only performed if the mother's life is at stake, and that's why it must be legal. But what we're now seeing proves that this horrendous procedure, by the way, that systematically pulls the baby apart, well, it has nothing to do with women's health. In fact, it has everything to do with choice. Choice on whether the mother is ready for a child. The chance to choose whether a baby is convenient or not. And so in essence, we have created and fostered a culture that's all about what feels right. Notice I didn't say what is right, but rather what feels right. You see, the liberal agenda is one that fights for the right to do what they want to do, regardless of consequences and regardless of what is right or wrong. They go against all of society's norms, or at least what the norms used to be. They feel that the culture that was created is outdated and archaic. Of course, that culture, Judeo-Christian. So they fight for the right to choose. Of course, if someone differs from their viewpoint, they don't get that same courtesy. If you oppose abortion, you are hateful. You want to tell women what to do with their bodies. You are living in the past. You do not deserve to be heard. And your voice, well, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, I speak from experience. I truly try to respect what others believe. Yet when my beliefs are different from theirs, it's clear I am not given the same respect. So anyone that opposes their viewpoints, well, they must be silenced. Silenced like the scream coming from the womb of an aborted baby. A new movie is set to come out. It's called Unplanned. It is a movie that, without a doubt, could help sway the hearts of those who support abortion. It is, in fact, a true story about a young lady who was a manager at Planned Parenthood. This young lady, Abby Johnson, believed the lie that was promoted by her company, that abortion should be protected as a health service for women. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we already know that Planned Parenthood pushes this idea to their employees. They actually discuss how important it is for them to double their quota. Double their quota. Now, this idea, again, is promoted by this company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about doubling our quota as it pertains to selling cars or selling furniture, but we are talking about precious, innocent babies. Planned Parenthood says we must double our quota. That's not health service. It's greed. And greed, I might add, at the expense of women and innocent babies. Abby Johnson reveals that the sales pitch, and that's her words, not mine. She says Planned Parenthood uses a sell pitch, and it was to tell women that what they were discarding was a clump of cells and that the baby would in fact feel no pain. Abby Johnson, she did her job well. In 2008, she was the Employee of the Year for Planned Parenthood. And all the while, as Abby was repeating the sales pitch, she had never once witnessed an abortion. That eventually changed when she was asked to assist. When she assisted, she said that she witnessed a baby fighting for its life with nowhere to run as it was dismembered, killed, and then discarded like garbage. She now knew that what she had been telling all of those women was a lie. The sales pitch that she had been promoting was a lie. She went from Planned Parenthood's Employee of the Year. Now, she's a pro-life activist. She is Planned Parenthood's worst nightmare because she knows what happens in those so-called clinics. Well, again, Unplanned, the movie, is set to release. And the liberal media, staying true to their form, they have given the movie an R rating. The reason? Quote, some disturbing bloody images. I have not seen the movie. I will, but I haven't yet. I have, however, read the reviews of those who had an advanced screening. And they have reported that there is nothing in the movie graphic enough to garner an R rating. Now, of course, that R rating, which, by the way, again, provided by a liberal agenda, could kill the movie. It could silence the movie. And with that said, they have a lot of practice killing and silencing things. Babies. Viewpoints opposed to theirs. And they know this movie could harm their pockets. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about women's health. Do not believe the lie. When you think about the movies that are out or coming out, you think of Insidious, The Ring, or The Escape Room, which are outright horror films, and they were only given PG-13 ratings. With that information, ladies and gentlemen, we now know the agenda is clear. Liberal Hollywood believes and advocates for young 13-year-old girls to get an abortion, but they do not believe, and at the same time they work to prevent that same 13-year-old girl from seeing this movie. A movie that actually tells the truth about what abortion is. Unplanned contains no nudity, no sex, no violence, and no profanity. It is a continued effort to silence the truth about abortion. Now, that's not the only thing they cover up. We know that. And because of this, I'm asking you to be outraged. Be outraged. Go see the movie. Take everyone you know and go see it. Promote it on your social media platforms. Talk about it at work. The truth must be revealed and will only be silenced if we remain silent. I would challenge you. There is no more time for silence. We must speak because there are innocent babies being murdered. We cannot be silenced. Go see Unplanned. Take someone with you. Get a group together because I believe this is a small way for us to make a difference. And maybe, just maybe, we will save a life. We'll be back.
I'd be the youngest director in Planned Parenthood history.
Unplanned is the incredible, powerful story of Abby, a young woman who gets drawn into working for Planned Parenthood until one day she sees something that changes her mind.
Sorry to bother you, but they need an extra person in the back room. Are you free?
Though raised in a pro-life Christian home, Abby starts working for Planned Parenthood in college. Eventually, she rises in the organization to become one of the youngest office directors of the local clinic. However, one day she's asked to hold the ultrasound device during an abortion.
I saw it, and it was like it was twisting and fighting for its life.
And she quits. So Planned Parenthood sues Abby for leaving her job.
We are an abortion provider. We are paying you to be a perfect instrument of corporate policy.
I can't be a part of this anymore.
Congratulations. You've made an enemy of one of the most powerful organizations on the planet.
Unplanned is extremely well made. It's a movie that anyone can watch and be caught up, no matter what their point of view.
Everything that they told us is a lie.
Don't underestimate the repercussions of this. You gotta be careful.
It is structured so powerfully that by the end it brings a torrent of tears.
22,000 abortions. How do I even comprehend that?
It's a very hard movie to tell people that they should watch. You must have caution for the young girl who's bleeding after the abortion and for Abby who's bleeding after the abortive drug. It's amazing that it took Abby so long to come to her senses, and for that reason alone, everyone should see Unplanned. For more media-wise information to help you make good selections for family viewing at the theater or at home, please visit movieguide.org.
Welcome to the What's Important Now program. We are fighting for the soul of America and tackling the tough topics. Now let's join your host, international evangelist and veteran radio host, Tom Sears.
And welcome back inside of What's Important Now. I hope you enjoyed that movie guide review and talking about our first segment there, the movie Unplanned. And just, listening to it just makes me, makes knots up my stomach. This is an issue. Abortion is an issue. I just can't, I can't comprehend. I can't fathom it. It makes me angry. It breaks my heart. So many different emotions. And I know that I talk a great deal about, how it's killing innocent babies, but there are repercussions that go beyond that. And I think it's important to know that. I think the women are victims as well. I really do. And we need to pray for them. It is not an unforgivable sin. They can be forgiven. And I pray for them and for all those who are affected. Okay, we're moving on. We have some other things to look at. A nationwide study shows that approximately 2 out of 3 Protestant pastors believe that schools are detrimentally affecting the spiritual development of students. According to onenewsnow.com, even though parents and the church are perceived as the primary sources from which youth build their faith, they are quite cognizant of the destructive influences school culture has on their faith, especially taking into account that the greatest proportion of children's waking hours are spent behind school gates, not at a church with pastors or at home with parents. Now, most adults in the faith community agree that the foundation of children's faith lies with the parents, followed by the church, but it is feared that the toll that the secular climate of school takes on youth can overpower the other positive spiritual influences in their lives. Clergy view parents 90% Protestant, 96% Catholics, churches 99% Protestant, 100% Catholic, and Christian communities 93% Protestant, 92% Catholic as positive influences on a child's spiritual formation and development. And in some cases, the perceived negative influence of a child's school or friend group outweighs a perceived positive influence by double. It is presumed that a number of factors could explain the greater confidence that Catholic leaders have in schools. Results from Barna's Generation Z study, conducted in partnership with the faith-based think tank Cardis, surveying 650 Protestant and Catholic church leaders, focused on the next generation of Americans coming of age. And it indicates that youth are moving further away from their parents and grandparents regarding their spirituality. I wanted to talk about this today because I actually think that I have an interesting viewpoint on all of this, because I am a part of several different ways of thought or community there. First and foremost, I believe that the role of raising children, it's for the parents. And I think that's where, in many ways, society has failed. I don't think it's fair to throw it at schools. Number one, there are tremendous teachers. There are great teachers. There are good Christian teachers, great Christian teachers, I should say. And I don't think you can throw that at the feet of schools. And here's why. No matter what they're getting while at school, whether it be peer influence or teacher influence or whatever, the role still, I believe, is with the parents. Now, as you know, I'm an advocate of getting back to our historical foundations. I'm an advocate of prayer in schools. I think that we were doing a whole lot better in society when those things were fostered. But it has to be a joint effort. And to throw that at schools, I think, is not correct. I think the failure, in part, mostly, is with parents, and I also think churches. I think here's what happened: is society is changing, culture is changing, and it's not necessarily changing for the better. And when you think about things like children doing what they're told, or following the rules, or obeying, or respecting their elders, those things have all took a slide. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But, I've often said that if you see a particular child, young person, acting a certain way, meet their parents. In many cases, their parents are the source of why they act the way they act. I think children who are raised well, children who are raised as part of a strong family structure with good biblical principles and values, I think those children excel in those areas that I just mentioned. And again, to throw it at the school or the school system, I do not think is fair. Now, I'm pretty much a straight shooter, and I say what I think, regardless of what people think I should think. I say what I think, and I do believe that although there are a lot of things in my mind and in my opinion that are missing from school systems, I just don't think we can throw this at the schools. I really don't. I think that churches have caved into culture and society, and they no longer teach strong core biblical values. It's more about, if you want the kids to be around, have fun, do this, do that, have all these different things for them instead of giving them good Bible teaching. Now, as it pertains to the schools, it's obvious that there's peer pressure and peer influence is the word I'm looking for, and those things factor in. But again, to throw it just at their feet, I don't think is fair. I actually think that it's a joint effort, and society as a whole has to make up its mind what it's going to do. It seems as though we're racing towards this idea of anti-Christ mentality, and I say that in that we no longer want anything that's biblical, Christian values in society. Have schools suffered because of that? I absolutely think they have. I think that, and as I've done many times on this program, I think you can go back in the 1960s when prayer and Bible reading were removed from the classroom. Things happened. Bad things happened. Because, Abraham Lincoln said that if you want to see what the philosophy of the next generation is, you can look to the classroom. And I think that's true. All those things are true. But my point is, to solely throw it at the school system is not fair. I believe, again, the parents play the most important role, because parents are making the choices that are important for their children. I have raised my children in a God-fearing home. I have raised my children to know that what they see in society today in many ways is not what the Bible says. And, my children, my two older children, one has already graduated high school, another set to graduate high school through the public school system. And they understand, they have a biblical worldview. And again, they did not get that biblical worldview from the public school system, because the place that it should be fostered is at home and at church. Hear me on this. I am not saying that it should be omitted from the school system. That is not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't think it's fair to blame the lack of respect, the lack of courtesy, the lack of obedience, the lack of all these things we see today on the school system. You can't blame it there. I think it starts at home, has to be fostered in the church, and if you can get it in the school system, I think that's great. I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'm just saying, when you start throwing blame at organizations or at people, I don't think you can do that. I don't think it's fair. There are great teachers in the school system. There are great Christian teachers in the school system, and they are running their classrooms the way they should be run. They are providing a great education for their students. Is that the case throughout all of America and all the classrooms? No, I don't think that's the case. But I'm saying, regardless, we can't blame all of society's ills on public education. Passing blame to someone else. And so the argument there is that 2 out of 3 pastors think that it's detrimental. Are there consequences. Are there influences? There absolutely are. But I think if parents sit down and talk to their kids and explain to their kids, listen, this is what society is. That we don't go that direction. We don't do those things. I think parents play the crucial role. And that's really, if you look at America today, if you look at our culture today and our society, I think that without a doubt, that's where the breakdown has been, is with the families. The families are broken. And I could go through all the different ways that they're broken, but they're broken. And, I've often said, gone are the days where you sat down with your family at the dinner table and you discussed how the day went. Communication is no longer there. Social media has replaced conversation amongst family members to cell phones, iPads. Technology. All these things are factors to say that the school system alone is the cause of this. I just don't think that's fair. I've been on both sides of it. I've seen it. I continue to see it. I don't think it's fair. I think any influence can be detrimental, including the parents not doing their job at home. Let me share a story. When I was growing up, I got into the wrong crowd in middle school, and I had a teacher who saw this happening. This teacher happened to be a Christian, and this teacher grabbed me by my ear. It's something that would definitely not be allowed today. But he grabbed me by my ear, and I thought he was going to pull my ear off. I did. I really thought he was going to pull my ear off. I went home and told my dad. I said, Dad, this is what this teacher did. Now, I didn't provide my dad with any of the backstory, of what I was doing and what I was getting involved in and who I was running with. So my dad goes to the school because my dad had every intention on pulling this guy's ears, right? So when my dad gets there and the teacher explains, listen, your son's better than this. Your son is better than this. And this is what he's doing. This is what he's getting caught up in. And my dad's response to that teacher was, rip both of his ears off his head. And I want to tell you that today I'm very thankful for that. And that's kind of what I'm saying. If you hear me out, that's what I'm saying. It takes this group effort. And because Christ has been removed from various aspects of our society, that's a point I will not argue. It's a point that I'll actually fight for. Because this person who pulled on my ear was not a perfect person, but believed in the gospel of Jesus Christ and knew and saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And now here I am, all these years later, talking about it on the radio. You see what I'm saying? But it took my dad's involvement. It took my mom's involvement to say, listen, you're not getting caught up in that. And because I had a teacher who was watching out for me that I didn't even realize it, I thought this teacher just hated me and was being mean. No, it's also the same teacher that would call on a Sunday morning and want to know if I wanted to go to church. You see what I'm saying? So it takes this group effort. And it really comes down to society is broken. It's going to start in the homes. The churches need to foster that. And then I definitely believe that society, including the school systems, need to allow Christ back. Open the doors. Because even as Benjamin Franklin said, who was not known to be a Christian, he said this. He said, of all the religions in the world, if you want to know what morality is, follow the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time. Thank you for being a part of our program. Look forward to meeting back up with you again next time. Go to what'simportantnowradio.com. Hear all of our programs. We encourage you to do that, including some of the other programs that we produce that are not What's Important Now, including the very popular podcast, Pastor Talk. We encourage you to check them out. As always, fight the good fight of faith. Contend for the faith. There is a cause. It does matter, and it is important now. I'm so grateful you've been here with us. If you'd like to email us, do so by writing what'simportantnowradio@gmail.com, what'simportantnowradio@gmail.com, and our mailing address is 8901 Good Hope Pike, Lost Creek, West Virginia. We are, in fact, fighting for the soul of our country. We are fighting to bring values and morals back. Will you join the fight? I believe you will. Go see Unplanned. Take someone with you. Don't allow that rated R rating to scare you away. It is a farce. The liberal agenda on the march. But we say we're going to stand and fight. It's worth the fight. Let's stand up and do it. Take care. God bless.